Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. Today's question is about logging, specifically with FT8 and with POTA, which is Parks on the Air, or POTA. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about the conceptual idea of logging and what is practical for FT8 and for POTA. Now, there are many different logging programs. There are three that are particularly popular. N1MM is popular. So is Ham Radio Deluxe, although I find their logging software a little hard to use. It's very complex. And then there is the one that I recommend, actually, is N3FJP. If you go to N3FJP, you will find that it consists of countless logs, one for each major contest. And so the logging interface that you have on your screen is exactly tailored to whatever contest you're working. So like on field day, it's got a place for the other person's call, the other person's section, and the other person's class of station. And that's all, because that's all you need. And it will automatically record times and everything like that. Unless you have it connected to your radio, you will need to tell it what band you're on, because that's all it needs. Now, N3FJP sells another piece of software as part of its package called All Contact Log. Think of this as the merge of all the various contest logs. So now I use All Contact Log for my normal everyday logging. And it has direct connections to Logbook of the World, to QSL.cc, something like that, and others. And you can send it up. If you want to get things for ARRL awards, you are going to need to use Logbook of the World. But all this is there. You can connect directly. Now, N3FJP All Contact Log also has a connection to FT8. There's a piece of intermediate software called JT Alert, which you can get, which is not terribly expensive. In fact, I think it's free. And it will connect the FT8 software directly, so that as you do FT8, when you hit the entry to log in FT8, it will automatically go into All Contact Log. And then you can just upload from there to Logbook of the World, and everything works fine. So that's an easy thing to do. So what would I recommend for logging? If you have your logging software on a laptop computer, you can set it down in front of the radio. And then instead of, as you are operating on the radio, okay, instead of using, like this is my paper log, okay, instead of using a paper log and logging everything in the paper log, okay, like I do, you will simply type it directly into the laptop. And the software will keep track of all the details, keep track of the time. You have to type in the station, but it will take the frequency and the ending time, starting time, and so on from your radio and from its own internal clock. Okay, so it's a very easy way to log. You can also log comments and things like that. And then when it's time to send it up to the Logbook of the World, poof, a push of the button. Now you ask what a Cabrillo file is. A Cabrillo file is an intermediate file that connects your logbook to whatever contest authority that is wanting your report. It's all under the covers. It happens to be an ASCII file that you can look at it with an ASCII text editor like TextPad or something like that. And then you'll get just what you want out of it. I would not modify the Cabrillo file. Field Day, for example, doesn't take a Cabrillo file, but some others do. All of the log books that you put on your computer will produce a Cabrillo file for whatever you need. Now, I am not as familiar with Parks on the Air as I wish I was, but you can work Parks on the Air. You can do a selective upload to the POTA people. They've got all the details in there on how to do that. Now, the thing about these computers can be, well, let's just say they don't think like humans. So you have to think either like a computer or something else that is not human, and that is a computer programmer. Now, computer programmers think they've got all this arranged so that it will be very easy for you to do. But like I said, computer programmers are actually aliens, and so they don't think like humans, which makes it very hard for you to think like they do. But once you get past the initial steps, you're fine. What's my recommendation? Go find someone who's very into this activity, POTA or whatever, and say, how do you do it? And sit with them, go with them on an outing and so on. Help them log, help them go through the process of submitting their log, and you'll find it will be much easier. So let me pull out this paper here and make sure. This question, by the way, came from Dennis, K2DJS. And he wants to know what these things are. Now, the connection between your logging software and Logbook of the World will require that you first set up Logbook of the World. That is, although they've tried very hard to make the process simple, it is not. So you're going to have to persevere through that process. It will require that you download a piece of software from Logbook of the World, which is the ARRL. Go to lotw.arrl.org to get to Logbook of the World. And then download software called Trusted QSL. Okay? Then you will take that, it's TQSL. And then take that software, and then you will go through a couple steps, and then you will have to wait. Wait for the Postal Service, which will deliver to you a postcard. And it will be sent to your official address, so make sure that your FCC address is up to date. That card will contain a code. And with that code, you can go back into your computer and continue the setup and get it set up. Once it is set up, and you've got your N3FJP software set up, it's magic. All you have to do is tell it to upload the Logbook of the World. It will do it. It will also download from Logbook of the World and tell you which of your QSLs have been confirmed by Logbook of the World. You can use Logbook of the World for things like Work All States and even DXCC. So it's very interesting stuff. So I would say, rather than try and figure out the upload format for Logbook of the World, Cabrillo File will do, by the way, but just use your logging software to make that connection. The reason I recommend N3FJP is because he's so good at updating his software. It is not free, but it is not very expensive. You can buy individual pieces of software like All Contact Log, plus Field Day, plus whatever you want. But it's easier just to buy the package. If you buy the package, it's a one-time fee, good forever. And every time the software is upgraded, which is quite frequently, you can download the upgraded software for no charge. Now, I would recommend that you throw in a little something into his tip jar every time you do an upload, because this is, after all, his and his wife's full-time job to make this work. That's N3, November 3, Foxtrot, Juliet, Papa. Okay, N3FJP.com will get you to where you want to go. Okay, a video on logging efficiently. Log directly into the computer. Okay, log directly into the computer. Now, if you are in a contest and you're running stations, okay, all you're typing in are the call signs. Everything becomes automatic. The report's always 5.9 and things like that. But there's a piece of software for each contest, so it's very efficient the way that you log. So there you have it. I hope that tells you a little bit about logging and some of the options and things that you can do. Again, the key word, as is in all ham radio, persevere. Keep pushing at it till you get it solved. Consult other people in your club. Go on POTA activations with people that you know. Look for all different ways of doing things, and I will tell you, your first way of doing something won't work, neither will the second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. Maybe by the seventh, you'll be getting this down pretty well. There will always be little glitches, but you'll become pretty expert at solving them, and then you can go to your club and make a presentation for them about how to do logging. So, there you have it. If you would like to help support this channel, you can go to dcasler.com/support, which will take you to Patreon, which is a great way to do it. There's some other options in there too. If you have any questions you'd like to submit a comment on this video, and another viewer may be able to answer that. I wish I could get to all the comments. I can't. I do once a week or so sit down and try to go through comments for 2 or 3 hours and see what I can come up with. If you would like to submit a question to me, send it to Ask Dave, all one word, Ask Dave, lowercase, at arrl.org. That's .org, not net, .org. That is the official Ask Dave entry point, and I may answer your question just with a simple word or two, or I may be able to make a video like this, or might be able to answer it in the Ask Dave column that appears in every month's QST, somewhere around page 50. And I may be able to answer it in some other way. So I try to get to them. Please keep those cards and letters coming, and until we next meet, 73.